So several months ago I decided that I would begin video documenting my explorations of historical and conflict gaming, whether hex and counter like this, or miniatures, or even video games. And so this is um, another video in that ongoing um, documentary. This is a Salla 1941 Fight to the Finish. Pacific Rim Publishing, Just Plain War Games. This follows my solo playthrough of Kastenga, which uses a set of rules that is almost identical to this one. So we are already all set to begin turn one. Right here, turn track. All of the formation chits are in the cup. So we draw the first formation randomly, and that is 104th Rifle Division. 104th is this division right here on the south side of the East-West Railroad, Salla Alakurti Railroad. What does this division down here now? Actually, just move this objective marker out of the way here. Actually, are there any adjustments for the 104th to make? They want to defend the village here of Mikola. Let me go ahead and zoom in here some. And, all right, try that. Village of Mikola here, which is the village which is right between these two long, narrow lakes. So we have a double stack there. Down here, the 104th might want to make a second defensive line back here maybe. After the Soviets set up, the Axis player sets up, and this Axis force down here from the 6th Finnish Division is quite a bit stronger than expected when I set up the Soviet units. So there are some, the 217th, okay, 217th is here, tasked with defending Mikola. The 242nd is over here, tasked with defending the southern flank here. And the 273rd is right here. There's the headquarters. So actually these could redeploy over here. Of course, I have to be careful to not weaken this sector too much in defending this sector. But no, actually the more prudent thing to do is to wait and maybe use the 1st Tank Division here to reinforce over here. So the 104th will actually stay put. Okay, so reinforcement phase, there are no reinforcements. I'm not sure there are any reinforcements for, no, there are no reinforcements for the whole game actually. They're already on the, oh yeah, they're already on the, everything's on the board. Okay, so no reinforcements. The mechanized movement or armored movement phase, the 104th here, we're still just concerned with the 104th. They will they'll stay put. Combat phase. Now, I'm not going to launch any, I guess, conventional conventional attacks, but there's the possibility of bombarding with artillery. You know, in general, we would have to catch a target in the open, and I think also adjacent to a friendly unit. So ranged combat is conducted by artillery units against non-adjacent enemy units. When ranged combat takes place, the attacking artillery units adds its combat strength to the attacking friendly units adjacent to the target unit, or they may attack independently. The enemy units must be adjacent to a friendly unit and must be within range. Okay, so there is no defense of artillery fire. So you can't just attack this armor unit in the open because there is no friendly unit adjacent to the armor unit to perhaps we can look at it as spotting. There's no friendly unit adjacent to the target here to spot for the artillery, so that's not allowed. But the artillery could mass against something over here, but let's see if they can even generate enough. See if they can even generate enough combat power. Looks like we can mass about, let's say, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can mass 8. It's not enough to even do anything to these Finnish units over here because they are in the forest and not in the open. Okay, so that's the combat phase for the 104th Division. Now we have regular movement, and we will just stay. We will stay put. Yeah, we'll stay put. And that is the 104th Rifle Division's formation segment of the turn. We go to the next. Okay, 6th Finnish Division. That's down here. Pull the formation chit. So now this is the first. This is the first. Well, that's interesting. For air support, it says during the reinforcement phase of each formation segment, the Axis player rolls 1 die for air support. Is it implied that that is each Axis formation segment? And can you save them? Hoping to save it for another formation. Doesn't really say that. Okay, let's go through this all. There's that, and then there's on a roll of 5. The Axis player receives 1 air support point. On a roll of 6, he receives 2. If he is successful, he may not roll again for air support until the next turn. He may decline to roll for air support, hoping to save it for another formation segment. Air support points may be allocated to any attack, exactly like artillery units conducting ranged combat. Each has a combat factor of 1. Air support points may not be eliminated in combat. Unlike artillery units, air support units may attack any enemy unit on the board, even those not adjacent to friendly units. Any adverse results are treated as no effect. That is really unclear. So can these... Okay. First thing is it does not say anything about losing these air support points. On the other hand, I'm not sure what saving them up represents. But that aside, it doesn't say that they're lost at any time. It doesn't say they have to be used within the formation segment that they're successfully rolled for. But that means that we would want to actually track the number of air support points. Okay, so, and that's during the reinforcement phase of each formation segment. So I could have rolled in the earlier 104th Soviet Rifle Division formation segment. Well, in any case, we roll now because we're in the reinforcement phase. So the Axis player rolls and rolls a 4, so they don't get any. Alright, we go to the Alright. So there are no lake crossings. Unlike in Kastenga, we have river crossings here, and that's the Tunsa over here. But there is no way to cross the lakes here. I went ahead and deployed the Finnish engineer unit here on the assumption that it could help assist in a lake crossing like in Kastenga, but actually there is no crossing these lakes. Okay, some differences to remember and pay attention to. Alright, so 6th Division, Armored Movement Phase. We're not... see what we got down here. So maybe they do need... so maybe the Axis do need to... Now, the idea is still that we're going to... Axis are going to try to maneuver the Soviets out of Mykola by getting around the flank over here. That's what they'll do. So village here of whatever this is, Nenapalo doubles the defender, but this defender's double because he's in forest. He is not attacking across the lake there. On the other hand, can generate 15 plus some artillery support. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, again 6. No, actually it could generate enough, so, but I still want to get, that's what I want. I want to get regimental integrity is what I want to get. Alright, so no armored movement. The Finnish light unit here gets to move 1 hex, so he'll move up there, adjacent to the 104th Soviet, or this infantry battalion from the 104th Division. Now we go to the combat phase. So this would be 16, 17, 18. And 20? Yeah, well, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go. Alright, so for combat, okay, again, we have to declare them all. I think there's only going to be one still. Declare this combat here. Okay. Closer here, center on the battle here. Yep. So, alright, so we have our one battle here marked. The light infantry with these 2 Finnish infantry battalions. That's 16 combat factors, and we'll add this artillery for 18. Go ahead and mark that artillery battalion to show that he will not move in the next movement phase following this. The defender is 6 combat factors because he's doubled in the forest, so we have 3 to 1. Axis are going to attack at 3 to 1. Roll a 4, which is DR2. Okay, DR2. 1, 2. Yeah. Alright, going to advance with the light infantry. Make sure that the retreat and advance rules are the same in Salla here as in Kastenga. If the defending unit is no longer in the hex, eliminated or forced to retreat, one of the attacking non-artillery units may advance into the vacated hex. That's the same as Kastenga. Units forced to retreat as a result of combat must be moved away from their former position by the defending player. The retreating unit must move the indicated number of hexes away, ignoring terrain costs, and may not enter an enemy zone of control while doing so. For purposes of retreat only, the presence of a friendly unit in a hex negates enemy zone of control in that hex. If forced to move into an enemy zone of control, the retreating unit is eliminated immediately. Units may retreat through hexes occupied by friendly units, but may not end their movement in a hex occupied by a friendly unit. Okay, so that looks all the same as Kastenga. So the Soviet battalion, infantry battalion, was pushed back to hexes, and the Finnish 6th Division Light Infantry Battalion advanced into the vacated hex. The artillery unit is marked, so he cannot move this turn. Now we go to the movement phase. 2, 3, 4, 5. The first thing, we're going to push the light infantry unit over here to at least block, and so we can later occupy the village here, which is worth victory points, Vuorajärvi. So the light infantry unit is going to move through the forest at only one movement point per hex due to his light infantry capabilities, special and unique to it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's legal. So he's on the road, he's in the forest, so his defense will be doubled. And now he's positioning himself between the objective village and the Soviet forces up here. Alright, yeah. I'm talking about these Soviet forces up here. Alright, so the rest of the 6th Division has basically gotten a bit of a breakthrough here, and they need to exploit it without extending too far right away. They still need to exploit this. These units are going to move at a slow 2 hexes through the forest. So it's 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4. Alright. These two are going to move 1 hex into enemy zone of control. This one, where they have to stop immediately. So in effect, it's a 1 hex movement. This infantry unit moves here, stops because it's in a zone of control. Now we can get a regimental. Regimental attack on the village here. Over here, we are going to go ahead and, well, one more turn we'll wait before we move up here and directly threaten Mikola here. So the engineer unit is no longer doing anything here because there aren't lake crossings. Yeah. So that engineer unit is only good for crossing the Tunsa River over there. So he'll move 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There. Yeah. So that is movement for the 6th Finnish Division, which ends its formation segment. Next is the 122nd Rifle Division. 122nd is on the north side of the river here. They're indicated by the white NATO symbols on them. So what are they going to do? All All right, 122nd Rifle Division. Okay, so the Axis can roll for air support again because it's the reinforcement phase of another formation segment. Okay, they get a 5, so they get 1, which I guess I will use the little mini die to keep, I guess, keep the number of, no, take that back. What I'll do is I'll take a, what am I going to use? Alright, I'll do this. I will take a 10-sided die, so that the Axis now have 1 air support point to use. Put it over there. They're not rolling anymore for okay, so they can roll in each formation segment until they successfully roll for points at all. Then they don't roll again until the next turn. So they're not going to amass air points that fast, basically. Okay. But they now have 1 air point available, and they will not roll for more air support points until the next turn. Okay, so that's the reinforcement phase. Now we go to the armored movement phase. Okay, so tank, recon, motorized infantry, including motorized engineers and motorized headquarters and motorized artillery. Okay, so what did, I'm not sure the 122nd really wants to. Actually, I don't see any changes for the 122nd. No. So 122nd will stay put. Oh, and the 169th German Infantry Division. Now that is over here, opposite the 122nd. So that this is the 169th over here. Now they want to work here. I want to get stuff done here. So reinforcement phase, no more rolling for air support for the rest of this turn. Move to the armored movement phase, so we can, first of all, we can move this, the motorized machine gun battalion, move them forward or east 1 hex, stopping for zone of control. And let's see what else, what other armored movement we want to take care of. Okay, that's all the armored movement. Now we go to the combat phase. Do we have enough strength to actually be 8, 13, 14, 15? I need 3 more combat factors. Actually, I could use both of those. We're going to go ahead and try to attack this one. I'm going to go ahead and launch the attack across the Nurmi River here. So these units here with as much artillery support as I can bring to bear in order to get 3-to-1 odds. So oh, wait a minute. Never mind. This one's going to be quadrupled because it's across the river, across the stream, and okay, it's called the Nurmi River, but for game purposes it's a stream. That's going to be double for the stream, doubled yet again for the forest. So yeah, that's 12 defending. Can I get 24? Okay, no, I need to wait and get more units up there is what I need to do. And I need to try to get regimental integrity. So what about here though? This would only be 6. Wow, I'm not ready to attack there either. That was not very good. Okay, not very good. No combats. So we go to the regular movement phase. This battalion definitely moves up to prepare for a regimental attack here. These guys definitely move. Okay, so what? Well, see if I can get a regiment. See, I can get a regimental attack here too. So these two are going to move up here. They're in the open, so they're risking basically a spoiling attack against them. But they're going to do that anyways to get in position. The engineer unit here is going to cross the river here. 1 hex stops because it enters enemy zone of control anyways. But the cost of that would be 2 for the forest, plus 3 for the stream is 5, which is more than his movement allowance. But he's eligible to move this phase, so he gets that minimum 1 hex movement. This is cavalry battalion. Not sure what to do. Yeah. You know, I wonder if the cavalry unit here is supposed to be moving during the armored movement phase. Is it considered recon? See, it doesn't really say that. That's interesting. The one cavalry division that I see right here. 1, is it considered recon? Is it allowed to move during the armored movement phase? It already has has 1 more movement allowance than a typical 4-4 infantry. All right. I was about to say it's all crowded here, but actually, it is crowded. I have to keep openings here to allow for retreats. Alright, I'm just going to leave it there. That's the regular movement phase for the 169th. That ends that formation activation. I have 2 more divisions. Who is the second? Which is the second to last division to go? Ooh, and it's the first tank. Alright, so we have had, actually, right here, we have had so far which is what you get in this game, a perfect 1-for-1 back and forth here, right? Soviet division, Finnish division, Soviet division, German division, Soviet division, and of course we'll have the last division. Perfectly back and forth. Okay, so the first tank is going to change. Yeah, so this threat here is more imminent than this threat here. So first tank will start to basically swing and reorient this way to stop the Finnish 6th Division here from advancing much farther. So reinforcement phase, nothing to do. Armored movement phase. Remember we mentioned this before, that the first tank division's infantry battalions are motorized infantry, so they can move during this phase. It's really only a question of where. First thing is to get up and on the road here and do the first blocking. So both of these infantry divisions are going to come straight. So they're going to move along the road, 1/2, 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2, and stop for entering the light infantry battalion's zone of control. Now we go. We do not want this light infantry infiltrating. So, see what we can do with the, this is the Armored Recon Battalion right here. So it's 1.5, 1, or 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, and we'll go, wait, back. 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2.5, there. And actually we'll start with that, actually. We'll go ahead and move this artillery to the other side of the road here. So 1/2, 2.5. Yep, because they're motorized artillery. There, that's the armored movement phase. Combat phase, yeah, this light infantry is just too strong here in the forest. Not gonna chance that. Could we mass enough artillery? I don't think so. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not enough. We could get a 1-to-1 here though. We're gonna do that actually. We're gonna do this. So all the artillery here, so they will not move again. So we have right here. So they're going to bombard here. We're adjacent to a friendly unit, which, you know, the rules don't mention this, but think of this as your spotter unit. This one's within range 2, 3, 4, 7, and 10. So all these artillery units, 10, bombarding here, which is 5 doubled to 10, so it's 1-to-1 odds. Don't need to worry about any adverse results that come up on the, that's funny, how do you, do exchanges? Never thought about that. Okay, 1. 1 would normally be attack or retreat 2, but does not apply to the Soviet ranged artillery. All right. Okay, so would the exchange be treated in this case as a defender eliminated and that's it? I guess so. Okay. All right, movement phase for the first armored. We'll go ahead and continue our movement. So we have 2 and 4 to get a line of mutually supporting Zocs here. Still going to leave these guys over here just in case. That is movement for first tank. Move the artillery markers, fired markers, and that's first tank. So one more. Okay. It is the SS Nord. We'll leave that for when I pick up again next time.